Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Christina McNeil, and this is NB12 for Wednesday, June 6, 2012, broadcasting from the Cable 12 studios on Robinson Road. In news tonight, ministers of national security given the right to bear arms due to the nature of their positions. Government launches its Swift Justice program. The men police believe killed an off-duty police reservist face criminal charges. What officials are saying about the murder of a witness and his mother last night. And Urban Renewal prepares to clear a dilapidated home and hopefully change a man's life. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. Your NB12 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. The Minister of State for National Security is defending his right to carry a licensed firearm. He admitted that both he and the National Security Minister are armed after Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis said at a press conference yesterday that he had heard reports to that effect. Well, Junior Minister Keith Bell hit out at the opposition today, saying this is not an issue. He argued that he needs a firearm because the Ingram administration allowed the country to become a war zone. Vonique Toot reports.
National Security Minister Dr. Nottage and his Minister of State Keith Bell have both come under heavy fire from opposition leaders and some Bahamians after Bell revealed that both men carry licensed handguns. Bell told NB12 today that Cabinet Office approved those special licenses last week. However, he says he doesn't understand what the problem is. Bell said it would be unwise for a minister who has to make critical decisions which deal with life to be unarmed. The Free National Movement has said that no national security minister was ever armed under the Ingram administration between 1992 and 2002 or 2007 to 2012. Former Minister of National Security Tommy Turnquest told reporters yesterday that he never carried a firearm as minister and questioned why Bell would. Bell believes the opposition is grasping at straws.
Cabinet approves special licenses. I am part of Cabinet. And if the former Minister of National Security didn't carry a firearm, then he ought to be asking himself, was he doing anything at all? Did he make the decisions that the country needed him to make, which could have perhaps kept this crime under control? Not whether or not why Keith Bell carry a firearm. I mean, it's just grasping for straws. It is unbelievable. It is unthinkable that they would attempt to make an issue about whether I carry a firearm or not.
Bell says both he and Dr. Nottage have been trained in the use of firearms. He argued that when he served on the Royal Bahamas Police Force, he put his life on the line on many occasions, came face to face with gunmen, and was even shot at. He added that when he left the force in 2008, he applied for a special license, but his application was denied. However, the FNM has questioned why Bell would need a firearm if he is no longer a police officer, and both he and Dr. Nottage have bodyguards. The former superintendent says there are times when their bodyguards are not with them. We know how the Free National Movement feels about the matter, but what do Bahamians think?
I really don't see the relevance in him having to carry a handgun if he traveled with a bodyguard straight through who was armed. I mean, that's my advice on him. Once you start doing that, then business people, quite a number of other persons, like my colleagues, taxi drivers who deal with money up front, quite a number of them feel now that they should be authorized to carry license gun. That's the position right now. We have a few taxi drivers now get their gun in their bus now.
They need it.
Even though they have bodyguards?
Yeah, man. We need it. Everyone need a gun right now, if you ask me.
Yeah, let them carry the gun, man. I want one too.
The radar, the town going on right now. Yes, it's right. I believe in it is right for they have the personal handgun. Yeah.
Many of the people we spoke to asked if they too could apply for licensed firearms to protect themselves.
Anyone who wishes to carry a firearm in this country has the right to make an application, a simple application to the Royal Bahamas Police Force. The Commissioner of Police is the firearm licensing officer. A vetting will be done and the decision will be made by the Commission as to whether or not you ought to carry a firearm.
Asked whether he feels all cabinet ministers should receive special licenses, the state minister for national security said the issuance of firearms licenses should not be taken lightly. He explained that under the Firearms Act, the firearms licensing officer is the commissioner of police, who has the discretion to issue a firearms license and issue firearms to who he deems fit and proper. At the end of the day, Bell says the question of whether a minister has a firearm is irrelevant. He says the real question is whether we as a country are serious about security and whether when we put people in these positions, we want to ensure their welfare and that of their families. Reporting for NB12, I'm Monique Tude.
A pledge to have serious crimes tried within a year of the offense is the foundation of the newly launched swift justice system. According to Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson, all those murders that have taken place since the PLP took office in May will be tried before or by May 7, 2013. She also indicated that the cases involving 2 police shootings last week and the murder of police officers a few days ago and the murder of a witness last night will be tried before the end of the year. Paige McCartney has details in this report.
Following last night's violent murder of 2 witnesses of a pending murder trial, Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson says the Swift Justice Program is waging an unrelenting war against crime, ensuring that those people who try to stop the administration of justice have their time before the court as quickly as possible. The major component of the new Swift Justice Initiative is case management, especially serious cases like murder, according to the Attorney General. The aim is to have all of those murder cases tried within a year of when the offense was committed. But for those cases in which a witness or officer of the law, judicial officer, or any other person involved in the administration of justice is threatened or attacked, a trial is now expected to be held within 6 months of the offense.
We will not have a situation where people feel that they can prevent justice or thwart justice or flaunt justice by attacking witnesses. So we have now not only reestablished witness protection, but we're making it very clear that anybody who attacks or assaults anybody involved in the administration of justice will be tried in 6 months. We mean that.
Another initiative that will be implemented under Swift Justice involves having representatives from family members of victims who have experienced horrific crimes to sit on the Swift Justice Advisory Committee. Additionally, efforts will be made to notify victims of crimes when their alleged attackers are out on bail.
It bothers me terribly when I hear of stories, and I've heard of many of them, and I'm sure you have too, when a victim says that the accused walks up to them in the food store at the movies. You remember me? And I tell you I can get out on bail? That is not going to happen anymore. We're going to put in place the means by which victims will be able to know when an accused has been released on bail.
At today's first meeting, representatives from a cross-section of law enforcement and the judicial system were present. The aim is for the team to meet weekly to collaborate on how to effectively manage cases from the investigative stage straight through to a final ruling in a case. Assistant Commissioner of Police Hewlin Hanna spoke to the importance of police in the administration of justice.
We understand all too well when a member of the public feels as if the system has failed them. There is no value to be gained by one part of the component working and the others lacking. And so we believe that this thrust that brings us together on a weekly basis, where we look at our state of preparedness and where we ask the hard questions and provide the answers, and where we have to account before our counterparts, we believe that this is the right thing to do.
Here's how it works. At each meeting, there's a table of all of the current cases before the courts for the next 90 days. As a trial date approaches, stakeholders in the meeting will ensure that all of their responsibilities are accounted for, from the police in the investigative stage to the attorneys being prepared to present their cases to the judges, in order to ensure that matters can move forward without interruption.
Our team will be well positioned to proactively identify and respond to lack of performance or to weaknesses in the system. 3, the Swift Justice Program strengthens transparency. Justice must always be seen to be done. And it is in our national interest to protect the integrity of our justice system.
Efforts are also being made to ensure backlogged cases are prosecuted quickly, as well as those heinous crimes that warrant the death penalty. And according to the Attorney General, this is the first in a series of meetings that will be constantly held with the media to keep the public abreast on the status of cases that are being overseen by the Swift Justice team. Reporting for MB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
The two men police believe are responsible for the shooting death of an off-duty police reservist were literally dragged into the South Street Court complex today to face a magistrate. 22-year-old Clemson Edgecombe, seen in the gray and black shirt, and 28-year-old Andrew Gibson in the red shorts were hoisted up the stairs by police officers this afternoon. At one point, Gibson stumbled, causing his shoes to slip off his feet, leaving him barefoot for police to carry him inside. Gibson's mother cried for justice for her son.
All they do is beat your children. They beat everybody to tell them lies that my child is a criminal. My child is not.
Before Chief Magistrate Roger Gomez, the men were charged with the murder and armed robbery of Dennis Clark on May 31st. According to initial police reports, Clark was outside Superwash on Prince Charles Drive last Thursday when he was reportedly approached by the occupants of a silver Toyota in the parking lot. Clark was fatally shot. Gibson was unable to stand to his feet as the charges were read, claiming that the entire left side of his body was in pain. Meanwhile, Edgecombe was charged with another armed robbery that occurred on May 17th. Police say Edgecombe was responsible for robbing Pedro Brennan of $700 worth of goods and $200 cash. Edgecombe's attorneys told the court that their client was beaten by police and forced to sign a statement. Meanwhile, Gibson's attorney Stanley Roll added that his client was also abused and was brought to court barefoot, something he described as inhumane. Gomez ordered that both defendants be taken to see a doctor immediately. The men were not required to enter a plea today and will return to court on August 22nd for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. A 23-year-old witness in an ongoing case was last night murdered along with his mother at their Buttonwood Avenue apartment. Police are still searching for the suspects responsible for the double murder of 56-year-old Nora Mae Johnson and her son, 23-year-old Dario Dean. Police say shortly after 10 p.m. they were called to the scene of the shooting at an apartment on Buttonwood Avenue, Pinewood Gardens. Police say the door to the apartment appeared to have been kicked in by the gunman or gunmen. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Paul Roll, adds that Dean was on bail and scheduled to testify in a case. State Minister for National Security Keith Bell confirmed that Dean was still wearing his electronic monitoring ankle bracelet at the time of his death. He added that members of the public would be amazed at some of the details of last night's double murder.
But again, I caution the Bahamian public that, when you talk about life, loss of life, whether or not someone has a checkered past or not, no one has the right to take someone's life in this country other than through the execution of a warrant or the process of the law by way of the death penalty.
Last night, police were also called to the scene of an apparent suicide after the body of 23-year-old Nikino Hall was discovered by a family member around 9:30 p.m. Assistant Commissioner of Police Hewlin Hanna explains what police discovered when they arrived at the Adderley Street home.
And we were led through an unpaved road and into the back of the yard where we saw the body of a male wearing a black short pants, bareback, hanging from with a thick rope around his neck and hanging. The body was taken down by police personnel. According to preliminary information, a relative came home sometime earlier and his attention was drawn to this scene.
Hanna advised members of the public who may be going through a tough time to seek help. He also sent this message to family members and friends of people in distress.
We want to say to members of the public and perhaps family members who may notice a person may be operating in a depressed state, a person may not be withdrawn, not want to speak to anyone, and may be talking about leaving all of these things behind. Sometimes these are signals, these are indicators that an individual is preparing to leave us.
Hanna sent condolences to the family of the deceased man. He says police will continue their investigation into the matter.